IVC District 321 students celebrated President Abraham Lincoln's 200th birthday Thursday, as did others around the state and the country. Some made his top hat, colored photographs of him, or read the Gettysburg Address. The students hoped to beat a Guinness Book of Records for people simultaneously reading aloud. Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address November 19, 1863, on the battlefield near Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. He said, "Fourscore and 7 years ago our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met here on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of it as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here. But we can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they have, thus far, so nobly carried on. It is rather for us to be here, dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they here gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation shall have a new birth of freedom, and that this government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Mike Wendell visited the Chillicothe Public Library Thursday evening dressed in Union blue and toting several Civil War artifacts with him. Wendell is a Civil War reenactor and serves as administrator of the Bishop Hill Heritage Society. A pound cake was served for dessert afterward. The recipe was found in a Civil War cookbook, which the library had on its very shelf. One of the battle weapons he showed the group was an 1861 Springfield rifle, which no doubt led to the deaths and injuries of many soldiers during the war fought on American soil. He explains how they would have used this gun.
But anyway, I'll just show you what this looks like.
This is the Allen conversion here, where before this was added, you had to sit there and take your ramrod and you'd have this on your right side with all your cartridges. There's 40 rounds in each of these, and they'd have another 60 rounds of these on their bodies somewhere. So they'd have 100 rounds on them. The ammunition weighed 7 pounds, and they'd literally rip it, put that down there like that, take their mini ball, put it down there, take the ramrod, put it in here, cock this back. This has been changed to a breech loader, but the earlier versions would have a cap. In fact, here it is. Here's my cap box. And I think I even have a cap somewhere floating around here. They're the same types of caps that they made in 1860. Put the cap on here, cock this back, and then you fire. And a good rifleman could only do it 3 times a minute. You got a guy coming up with a pistol on a horse, or 2 pistols, and you're doing this, not a good situation. You're already beaten by firepower. This is fine if you're going infantry against infantry, and you have 1,000 guys next to you, and you're all doing this at the same time. Because when we do this, we get commands to fire, and we fire exactly the same time. But if you're in a different situation where you got somebody that's doing something different, thank goodness they didn't use the Gatling gun until later on in the war, and thank goodness it wasn't used that often, because there was no way you were going to ever win with one of these things against something that was going to be a little more than that. So.